Hello to all of you amazing web slingers. Welcome to Livin on the Edge, the podcast all about our friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. My name is Alec. I am your host. You can follow me at the Alec Thorne on Twitter. You can follow the podcast on Twitter at LOTE_podcast. You can follow on Comics Ground on Twitter at on Comics Ground, and you can visit our website where we post daily reviews, news, editorials, and all that good stuff. I am joined by my co-host, Brian. Say hi, Brian.
Hello, I'm Brian. You can follow me on Twitter at Redo Reviews, and you can see me ranting about comic book and other nerd stuff, much like how I do on here.
Yeah. I always sound very unenthusiastic every time somebody does their intro. Like, I just say, yeah, okay. You're not special. We're all doing this.
All right, I'll just talk about the actual topic. All right, move on.
Yeah. Anyway, how are you tonight, Brian?
I'm doing pretty good. Like, I got my homework done, so I've been chilling for a couple hours now.
I envy that. I'm very far behind because if you guys didn't know, I got in a big car accident last week. I nearly died. It was very not fun. I have bruises, very dark bruises, so we'll see how that turns out. I had to go to the ER. That was fun. I haven't been to the ER before, so, exciting. My car is totaled, so... And by the way, this was a car I got the day prior, so...
Yeah, I remember... I saw on your Twitter you were happy you got the car. Very next day I see, hey, so my car's totaled.
Yeah, like
I felt so bad.
It's almost comedic how it like my life is just one big ironic joke. Like anytime something good happens, like it's immediately followed up by something really bad. Like I can never have nice things. I can never have nice things. Never love anything.
Unfortunately, I already love Spider-Man, so I know pain.
Well,
now
that you mention that, we might have found Spider-Man again. But before that, let's talk about some recent comics and news involving the webhead. So first, we're going to talk about this just very briefly. Amazing Spider-Man number 30 follows up after Absolute Carnage number 3, and it's basically a big confrontation between Peter and Norman Osborn, who still thinks he's Cletus Cassidy, which, to be honest, I think that's really dumb, but it's not Donny Cates' fault because Dan Slott did that at the end of his run.
I feel like Donnie's doing the best he can with it, and having Norman being like juxtaposed with Cletus as he is now is probably the best way to do it.
Yeah, like I hope by the end of this he is just back to being Norman Osborn again, whoever Norman Osborn is. But I think the big kicker about Amazing Spider-Man 30 is that Kindred comes back again in the forefront.
Yeah, we get a little flashback to back when we all thought he killed Mysterio at one point when he was in Ravencroft, and turns out he made a stop by Norman's cell to give him one of the coolest fucking monologues I've ever read.
Oh yeah, like this like okay. I we talked about on this podcast several times. I've talked about it on my Twitter how I at least think, I'm not going to say we because I don't want to speak for everybody, but I at least think that Kindred is Gwen Stacy. And the way that Kindred talks to Norman Osborn in this issue only makes me think that theory is true even more. Because Kindred references Sin's past, straight up.
He does too.
Like he talks about Norman violating innocence, and like that's nasty. But you know,
Yeah,
you can
it's
guess
what
what
the
he's
story
referencing.
was. So
Yeah. So like Kindred talks to him with so much hate and like disgust and like
yeah,
it. Who else could it be?
yeah,
Like who else could Kindred be?
yeah. Assuming Kindred is 100% like an undead demon person, I feel like it could literally only be either Gwen or Harry. Like they're literally the only two possibilities, I think.
The thing is, Harry is alive though,
That
so
is
it's
true.
like
Well, assuming he is truly a demon, I feel like he can only be Gwen. If it's like a fucking Scooby Doo thing where it's just a guy in a suit, then it'll end up being Harry, and I'll be mad.
I'd hate it if it would like that would be the lamest thing ever because like that's so easy. Like the only two people I could see it being is Gwen Stacy and maybe Uncle Ben. But like Marvel, like
Oh man, Uncle Ben would be so messed up as a twist.
but Marvel would like be damned before they show Uncle Ben in a bad light. And I know they don't want to show.
They will.
You could say they don't want to show Gwen Stacy in a bad light, considering how popular Spider Gwen is now, or Ghost Spider as she's now called. Like and Gwenpool too. But it's like I feel like as long as Ghost Spider is still there, they can do whatever they want with 616 Gwen Stacy. And like I know that like Clone Conspiracy or Dead No More. I don't know what the fuck that story's true title is, but anyway, the one where Ben Reilly's just like, I'm gonna be a villain now.
Yeah, that was a Clone Conspiracy.
Yeah. So and like they were like, oh, these clones have the actual souls of the dead people in it. That could easily be retconned, and I wouldn't have a problem with it. Like,
yeah,
I'm down for retconning when it makes a better story.
Yeah, which God, please, can we just pretend that story never happened? Clone Conspiracy, like, can we just sweep pretty much all the clones except for Ben and Kane under the rug and never mention them ever again?
Exactly. If you retcon a dumb story, like, what's the harm in that? Really, I don't know. It like I know some fans would be upset with that because some fans, I assume, do like Clone Conspiracy and like a lot of Dan Slott from, which is totally fine. But like, honestly, like,
every comic is someone's favorite.
Yeah,
somehow, even the bad ones.
Yeah, but like Donny Cates, like his whole run with Venom has been retconning a shit ton of stuff because there have been so many retcons throughout the years in terms of who Eddie Brock is, what his backstory is, how he found the symbiote, why he and the symbiote stay together, and so on. So he's just like, okay, fuck it. All this shit that came before, that doesn't really matter. Here's what really happened. And like, it makes sense.
Yeah, like one of my favorite things is a while back they introduced the fact that the symbiotes have a species name, the Clintar, and then in Donny Cates' run, he's like, no, that's not the name of the species. Clintar is their word for cage.
Ooh, yeah, that
was so cool.
It just adds so much lore to this symbiote. Like, Null is like a fucking genius idea, and like
Null is one of the best things Marvel in general has done in like a decade.
Absolutely. And like the fact that we haven't seen, like, we've only gotten like a couple issues with it. We haven't seen like him completely yet. So it's just like,
as far as I'm aware, the only things that Null has really been in are Donny Cates' Venom and I think Silver Surfer Black, I think is what it's called. That book.
He was also introduced in like a Thor comic from 2013. I don't remember which.
Oh yeah, that was the one with Gore, the God Butcher, which was really cool.
Yeah.
And that was when Gore like took his sword and used it to kill all the gods and stuff.
Yeah. That was a while back, but yeah, like, God, like I can't wait to see what Donny Cates does. No, but anyway, Kindred is like a lot of people I know have said like they'd hate it if Kindred is 616 Gwen Stacy. One of my friends even said like that would be even worse than that would be even worse than Sins Past. That would be even worse than like any other really dumb Spider-Man story. And I'm just kind of like, if it's done well, then like it would be really, really fucking effective. Like,
yeah,
Peter's first love being this villain trying to ruin his life. Like that's like that's Shakespearean in a way. Like that could be done really well.
Oh yeah, and honestly, I think it could be kind of cool if like the reason Kindred is so mad at Peter is because of One More Day.
Yeah,
like he literally like she was okay with like being dead and all because Peter still like found love and was happy with his life, and then he literally threw it all away just to save his aunt's life.
And didn't even bring her back in the process.
Yeah, I know. It's like, could you at least have brought me back too? I mean, Harry got to come back and he tried to murder you like 6 times.
Like, and you could be like, well, Gwen just wouldn't do that. Why is Gwen in hell? And it's like, well, maybe Gwen is being controlled by Mephisto somehow. Because
Mephisto's got like a boner for spider people.
He like literally just make deals with Miles and Otto, right?
Yeah, in the new Superior Spider-Man, Mephisto has like shown up to Otto to make a deal to turn him back into Doc Ock so he can defeat the evil Norman Osborn Spider-Man from Spider-Geddon.
Why would normal Doc Ock be able to beat?
Because he's more ruthless, basically, is the thought behind it. He's not ruthless enough to fight because he has changed to be a better person. I don't see it at all, but apparently he is a better person, and he needs to be evil again to stand a chance.
That's stupid. Like
it is, but like, at the same time, it means I get my classic Doc Ock back, and I can get rid of Superior Spider-Man because I don't care about him anymore. I don't care.
Like half of me agrees, and then the other. Every time they're developing like this version of Otto, they just like completely go ahead and erase all that character development.
Anytime Otto starts becoming a somewhat decent person, someone hits the reboot button and he's back to mad scientist, man.
Like Otto learns his lesson and gives Peter his body back, then he's like resurrected but evil again somehow.
Yeah, like not even a year later, he was brought back. I think
it's just I don't know. But anyway, like you could easily explain that Gwen is like not even under control, just being influenced somewhat by Mephisto, and that's why like she's doing this. Why she's trying, and it would be like super meta too, because Marvel considers Gwen to be Peter's one true love that nobody else can top, just because she died, and it's like,
fuck you, Mary Jane.
You got married to him, but you don't matter. It's Gwen. It's the dead girl.
That was undone. That doesn't count anymore.
No, but like, yeah, it's just like, I think it'd be really good. But we'll see. Yeah. I don't know. I just please don't let it be an obvious fucking choice, because like the ones that I don't want it to be are Harry. Like I don't want it to be Harry. I don't want it to be like an unborn child that Peter erased due to One More Day. I don't want it to be. I want it to be a character who we have known before, and one who hasn't been overdone as a villain yet. So
yeah.
Like I feel like Gwen is an ample choice for that, if not Uncle Ben. But the way Kindred talks, it doesn't sound like a family member, so I don't know. But we'll see. But jumping off of that, let me take a sip of water.
All right.
So jumping off of that, just a few days ago, they revealed the Infinity Saga box set, which has all 23 MCU movies, has a couple like has like a lithograph, a letter from Kevin Feige, and a framed photo of the logo Infinity Saga, all signed by the main six from the Infinity Saga. So you're thinking, wow, this is really fucking cool. And what's cool is that like you've seen what it looks like, right?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah, so like the lithograph is like on the spines of all of the of all the movies. So like it makes this really cool picture, and then like yeah, but so like you're like, oh, this is really cool. How much does it cost?
$550.
No,
Thank you. I'm good.
No. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. All the movies come with a Blu-ray disc and a 4K Blu-ray disc. So usually on their own, 4K / Blu-ray movies are about $25 to $30, and that times 23 is around like 575 or 675 or whatever. So technically you'd be saving money, but at the same time it's like, how many people will be able to buy this who aren't scalpers, you know?
Yeah, I don't see it. Like $550 is about $200 short of my rent. So yeah. I'm good. I own
That's
most
actually
of the ones that I want to own already, so I'm all set.
Like here, like I am an MCU shield. I have given my heart, my soul, my kidneys, my legs, my arms. I have given everything, and I am perfectly okay with being a shield for them. They've joked, like at On Comics Round, everybody's joked that I am the big MCU shill. So so like I feel this obligation to get it somehow, whether I pay half of it and my mom pays half of it for my birthday or something. I sound like I'm 12 and I'm like 20 saying this, but like either that or I just wait for like the future when it inevitably like gets knocked down a couple prices, whatever. Like I am determined to get my hands on this somehow, because I do not own every MCU movie. I only own one movie from Phase 1. So, like, it would be nice. And, like, I think it's nice. It just needs a couple more things with it, you know?
Yeah.
It has the 23 movies. It has a bonus disc that has, like, stuff they swore they'd never show to anybody ever. And it has a couple cool photo things or whatever. But, like, you saw the other collections, like, for Phase 1 and Phase 2, it came with, like, all these documents and stuff, all these, like, cool collectible stuff. Like, Phase 1 came with the Tesseract, and Phase 2 came with the orb with the Power Stone in it. Like, this one is just like, oh, here's all the movies and the photos. 550, and I would say it's worth it if they had like a wearable replica of the gauntlet.
Like if it came with a gauntlet, then I'd probably buy it then.
And not like a super big gauntlet. I mean, like one that could fit on a human hand, and like
one that you could actually snap your fingers with.
Yeah, like. That I'd be like, if that was included and it was like a pretty good quality, like not the best, but like not shitty, then I'd be like, okay, that's kind of worth it then. But we'll see. They haven't officially announced it. It was just leaked off of Best Buy, and Best Buy hasn't taken it off their website yet. So we'll see.
Yeah.
They might have like a cheaper edition that only comes with Blu-rays, or a cheaper edition that only comes with the movies instead of all the extra stuff. We don't know.
I imagine there's probably like tiers to it somehow.
There's gotta be, I think, because it's just like, I don't know. Because I get it's Disney, they do this shit, but it's like, they gotta think about how many people will be able to actually buy this who are not super rich fans. Because, like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like it'll get knocked down a couple prices before it comes out. Like, not anything drastic. I feel like 100 at most, maybe.
Yeah,
Like,
I feel like it will probably be dropped down to like the 450, 400 range at some point.
yeah, like, because, I mean, I guess this is like limited edition, but at the same time, it's like, will it really be though? Because a lot of times they say it's limited edition just so you'll buy it on day one.
Yeah, pretty much.
So we'll see. I'm determined to get my hands on it or a version of it at some point because I am legally obligated to, by my own laws or whatever. But
it was a part of the contract where you signed yourself away to the MCU.
Yeah. Speaking of contracts,
oh man, perfect segue.
Yeah, thank you for bringing that up to me because I wouldn't have known how to transition this. But anyway, speaking of contracts, and also the box set comes with both MCU Spider-Man movies. So you'd wonder, okay, why does it come with that? Well, they were MCU movies. I don't know how to connect this, but anyway. Speaking of contracts, on August 20th of 2019, a tragedy occurred that many people mourned and others celebrated because they think Sony makes good movies anyway. But we received the news that there would be 2 more Spider-Man movies with Tom Holland, with John Watts directing, but they would not be in the MCU. And Sony was ending their deal with Marvel. And this sparked a whole shit ton of social media shitstorms. Literally, like, everything on trending for that day was something Spider-Man related. And that never happened. Like, that never ever happened before. So like we were hearing, oh, it was Disney's fault, oh, it was Sony's fault, oh, it was both, or like Disney wouldn't let Kevin Feige work on movies that weren't Disney owned, or Kevin Feige just didn't have enough time to work on Spider-Man, or like
as he starts to work on his own Star Wars movies.
Yeah, like that was literally days before this next announcement. But anyway, fuck, what was I going to say? I literally wrote a whole editorial on this about how both Disney and Sony are being stupid, greedy businesses right now. And, they both need to just sack up and, kiss and make up and just, stop.
Yep.
Because I was like, even Sony has to know, hitting the reset button so many times is going to lose interest. The only reason, and here's my thing, people have told me Spider-Man fatigue never happened. People were sick of Spider-Man after Amazing Spider-Man 2. They were.
But I was getting sick of Spider-Man movies after that one. And I am one of the biggest fucking Spider-Man shills I ever known. And I was getting tired of these movies by that point.
And, here's the thing. They were telling damn near the same story over and over again. And, and you can say, well, it's a great story. But it's you can tell a good thing over and over again. People are going to get bored of it. They're going to want something else. And MCU Spider-Man gave them that something else. People cared about Peter because he was connected to a character they already cared about, which was Tony Stark. So now Marvel was building Peter back up to be cared about in the public eye, and then Far From Home made $1 billion. People cared about Spider-Man again, and so a month ensued where it was just more he said, they said whatever.
Yeah, there was about 3 billion clickbait articles about here's the new deal, here's the deal that got thrown out, and blah blah blah, with like zero sources from any of them. It's just like, I'm just so tired.
We could name sources, but we will not. But anyway, so like it was just like, and Tom Holland bravely putting on this facade where he's like, no, I'm totally happy, guys. Don't worry.
Yeah, I can't wait to star in a vampire movie with Jared Leto someday.
Oh, God. But
and his fucking island cult he apparently has.
Oh, God. Like, I saw that and, like, this is very concerning.
Can Hollywood just leave Jared Leto on that island forever, please?
Please. Like, I don't know what's going on with Jared Leto.
He scares me.
He really... I don't know what goes through that man's head, and I do not. But anyway, Tom Holland's for this whole month is being like, oh yeah, I'm pitching these ideas to Sony. We're still gonna do good stuff and whatnot. Then on September 27th, a little over a week ago, we get the great news, the blessed news that Sony and Disney have kissed and made up. Bob Iger and Tom Rothman have come back together, have like put the divorce papers away to care for their baby boy Tom Holland. And now we have a new deal. Spider-Man 3 is set for July 16th, 2021. And after that, he is set to appear in another MCU movie and the door is open for more solo movies and more appearances, because from this deal, Sony and Disney are making like a distribution deal. So I don't know the exact logistics of it, but it's like some Sony stuff will be on Disney, some Disney stuff will be on Sony and whatnot and so forth.
Yeah.
But anyway, like they're seeming to be in this for the long haul, which is great.
Yeah, good, because the previous deal was clearly very short term, as we saw.
Yeah, it was only like 4 years, and it was a very flimsy deal. Like, it was very paper thin, and it was less about contracts rather than just like, relations between, producers and whatnot.
Yeah.
So
this new deal is much more like, we both have things that the other wants, so let's put them all into this deal and see what we can make.
Yeah. So, what were your initial thoughts when you saw the news on that Friday morning, or whatever the time it was? I don't know.
Yeah. I was very happy that Spider-Man was being brought back into the MCU, because I know Spider-Verse is great, but I don't trust Sony to make a live-action Spider-Man movie anymore. On their own, I can't trust them to make it. Because
when they see a franchise is doing, they immediately put too many cooks in the kitchen to try to make it as profitable as possible, and it never works. And I was saying, like, the same thing will inevitably happen to Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, because like I brought it up on Twitter. I think it was like the instant Sony saw that people loved Spider-Verse and how popular it was, they were immediately like, we got to make like 50 spin-offs right now.
And they did. They announced like 12 shows, a few spin-offs, but like they are clearly just like trying to make a franchise out of this rather than it being natural. Like Marvel, the way the MCU worked is that they had these movies come out leading up to something like that. At least was mapped out from the start.
Yeah,
but they were like, okay, we're experimenting with this. We'll see how it goes, and if it fails, then oh well. But then it succeeded, and they're like, okay, we're going to continue with this. And Sony just like as soon as that first, they don't really have a plan. They just make that first movie, and then they try to hastily cobble together a plan. So it's like, yeah, but I think here's the thing about this deal that I think is great for every fan, like whether you're a fan of the MCU or Sony's stuff. Like Kevin Feige has said that Spider-Man will be able to cross universes. So basically, he's basically saying he will be shared by both Marvel and Sony.
Yeah, he's gonna appear in both MCU stuff and Sony's movie cinematic universe stuff at the same time, basically.
Like, they haven't said specifically whether or not it's Tom Holland's, but it's implied that it will be.
Yeah.
Which, like, I think, like, that's the best case scenario because, like, one isn't being sacrificed for the other. And, like, you know, I rag on Sony a lot. I have talked shit about Venom. I have talked shit about all the spin-offs. I have been talking shit about Morbius. I will talk shit about Venom 2. We'll see. But, like, there are people who genuinely like the plans that Sony is doing. There are people who genuinely liked Venom. And, I mean, Venom made $800 million. Like, that's a testament to something that people liked it, at least.
Yeah, they clearly do have a fan base.
Yeah. And, like, I can disagree with that for days. I can, like, make jokes about it for days. But in the end, like, it would suck if one was basically just canceled in favor of the other. And that's why, like, the whole thing about him leaving the MCU soured me, where I was like, well, this sucks. Like, we're just getting screwed over again. Like, this is just teaching us to not care about any iteration of Spider-Man anymore. Because, like, he's going to be rebooted in 2 to 3 years anyway.
Yeah, like, every 4 or 5 years, we're going to see a new kid put on the suit.
But, like, with this deal, like, we're all getting what we want. And
I feel like everyone wins with this new deal.
Yeah.
From the sounds of it, at least.
Like, Disney is getting 25% of the profits for the solo movies, which, like, first, like, I have already said that Disney does not need that. Like, I get it. They've worked on the movies. They put effort into the movies.
Yeah, but like, they already have the merchandising rights, and that makes a shit ton of money. That
makes even more than the movie.
Yeah, like, so they're already all set.
So it's just like it just feels like it was a power move that they were trying to make to try to be like, no, we have a stake in this or whatever. But like, now they've made that deal. Now they have 25%, and this way Sony can still make money because they're not sacrificing their own universe of movies. Like, Kevin Feige is acknowledging what they're doing. It's like, oh, cool. Like, you guys do what you do, and we'll share the character between the both of us. And I hope this means that characters that Sony is doing can be done in the MCU, whether differently or whatever. Because, like, I want to see Venom in the MCU. I don't really want it to be Tom Hardy's Venom. I just, like, I want to see the symbiote saga done well, and I think it could be done really well in the MCU. But, like, and, like, maybe with this deal, maybe it can. We'll see.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
And also, I do want to bring up the fact that I thought it was pretty funny how, like, I'm pretty sure it was like the day before Sony like made their announcements for all their movies that are in the works, and then the day after they announced, "Oh, hey, look, Spider-Man's in the MCU again."
Oh yeah, the Madam Web movie.
Yeah, not just we were getting Madam Web, the character most known for sitting on her ass, spewing magic stage bullshit at Spider-Man.
Like,
and we were getting.
I know
getting Night Watch.
Oh god! Like, I know Julia Carpenter is the new Madam Web essentially. So I get you could do that, but it's like.
But what could you do with her?
Like, what would a Madam Web origin story movie be like? Because it would be so far removed from the character that there's no point to it except for like it's. I don't know. Like, here's the thing. we don't really have to complain about this stuff anymore because we have MCU Spider-Man back.
We don't. I just like to make fun of the fact they were giving a movie to Jackpot, a character who didn't even last a year.
Yeah, her only existence was for people to be like, "Oh, is this what happened to MJ after one more day?" Oh,
yeah, it's
no.
Like, nope, she's dead now.
Yeah, but but anyway, let's talk about the good still.
Yeah.
So apparently, according to Bob Iger, who was on Jimmy Kimmel for some reason, I don't know why he was on Jimmy Kimmel, but he was. He explained that Tom Holland got him and Tom Rothman to, what's the word? He got them to both like back down essentially.
Remember that scene at the end of Far Home when he's sitting down with Aunt May and Happy Hogan? It was that, but with Sony and Disney.
Yeah. Like, okay, Tom Holland is 23 years old. Nobody knew who he was in like the first half of 2015.
Yeah, it wasn't until he was cast as Spider-Man that people heard of him.
Like, he has only been in the public eye for like really, like in the mainstream public eye for only like a little over 4 years. Yeah, 4 years. He got two big Hollywood companies to like retract and
he got them both to sit the hell down and talk out their problems.
Like, how, like, that is a shit ton of power that guy has now. Like, and he's only 3 years older than me.
Yeah, like that is insane.
I don't know how that, like, not even 3 years. He's only like 2.5 years older. I feel like so unaccomplished thinking about how like he got Disney and Sony to sit the fuck down, and he's only 23, and people have only known who he was for 4 years and 2 months.
Yeah, like that is
how. Like, you can say like, yeah, both Sony and Disney want money. They see this path as a path towards money, so they're taking that path. But like, still, it's like awesome to hear that Tom Holland got both of them to sit down. Like,
yeah, like say what you will about his portrayal of the character, whether you love it or hate it. At the end of the day, this man loves Spider-Man and he loves playing Spider-Man.
Absolutely. And like, even like, okay, y'all cannot believe Bob Iger whenever you can choose to not take his word at face value. I'm not saying I'm taking his word at face value, but like,
I would believe it if it is true that Tom Holland told Disney and Sony to calm the hell down and try to reach a new deal.
Yeah,
because like, he loves being in the MCU and loves being Spider-Man so much.
Absolutely. And Bob Iger said, like on Jimmy Kimmel, sometimes when companies are negotiating, we forget that there are people who actually matter out there, the fan. Which I know,
and all their money.
And all their money. Like, you can see it as a money thing. Like, you're like, that's totally valid, but I'm just kind of like, you know what? That's pretty big to admit. Like, you're the CEO of the biggest company in like the world, and you are like admitting that this 23-year-old kid reminded you that, hey, you're screwing the fans over. You're not gonna succeed from doing that. So
no one wins when you two have your dick measuring contests. It's not fun for anyone involved.
Exactly. So, okay. So, what do you think about this whole prospect of? I mean, I know we talked about it a little bit, but like, what do you think the MCU and the SUMC sharing Spider-Man from here on out?
Honestly, I think this is a pretty good idea, and it lets both people win, both MCU fans and people who enjoy like what Sony is bringing to the table more. So you can have Spider-Man being both, so everyone wins. The only problem I can see from it is a bit like brand confusion, especially for the little kids watching.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, like, I feel like I feel like Marvel is getting closer to establishing the multiverse. I mean,
oh yeah, no, Doctor Strange 2 is called Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
yeah, so like they're getting closer and closer to it every day. And like some people have said they don't want to see the multiverse, they just want the MCU to focus on itself. But it's like the multiverse is such a huge part of Marvel Comics. Like
Yeah, like
you
after
have to
the
address it.
Infinity Gauntlet, there's really not too many places you can go but up, and the
Yeah.
multiverse is pretty up. So I say go for that.
Like you could say, oh, Galactus, but Thanos who eats planets.
Yeah,
Like, that's all people
Galactus is awesome and all, but he is. I don't see him as the next big 3-phase arc villain.
Yeah, like, because how will that whole thing end? Is it just going to end with the Avengers having another portals? Like, I don't think you can really recreate the Infinity Saga. Like,
no, I don't think they're ever gonna top it. Like,
and I
as
think
overarching story, I should say.
I think Kevin Feige even said, "Yeah, we're not doing a story anymore. We're just developing this universe as it goes forward."
Yeah, which I think is a smart play.
Yeah, because they can experiment now. They don't have to focus on, okay, does this tie in with this? Does this support this story about the stones? Or does this build up
we
to
can
Infinity
finally
War?
move beyond the Infinity Stones. Nothing has to be tied to them anymore.
Yeah, so, like, literally, the possibilities are endless now. So
yeah, like we're getting a fucking Shang-Chi movie next year, right?
And I'm so fucking excited for it. And I know nothing about Shang-Chi.
I know all I know is he's basically Marvel's Bruce Lee, and a fucking kung fu movie set in a superhero universe sounds awesome.
Like some have said like it's gonna take place between Endgame, like during that 5-year gap, and I'm like, that's really cool, and I want to see that.
Yeah, I would love for a movie to take place in that period, because I want to see what the world was like when half of the universe just died one day.
Yeah. And like I think I think it'll be really great for Asian representation too, because like
definitely
I think I've said it before on an episode, but like the push for that is long overdue. Like there's so many times where it should have been like, and like we got that with Crazy Rich Asians last year because that made a shit ton of money. So the next logical step is like, okay, a superhero movie. So like I hope it makes Black Panther numbers. I hope it makes $1 billion.
Oh, same. I definitely plan on watching it because it just sounds really cool.
And we're getting the Mandarin finally. So
yeah, after all these years, we're finally getting the real Mandarin.
So like I'm excited for that. But back to Spider-Man. So what would you like to see in Spider-Man 3? Let's get to the fun stuff because I have a lot of ideas.
Yeah. Okay. So I honestly, with how Far From Home ended, with Peter's identity revealed to the entire world, it could go in a lot of places. But for the villain, which is what I've been thinking about most, the ones I've seen thrown around the most have been Kraven, Chameleon, and Scorpion. And I would love like any of those. Primarily, I want Kraven as the main villain overall.
Yeah, like
I think that would make the most sense.
It has to be Kraven, I think. Like I saw that like rumor thing that Marvel wants Chameleon to be the main villain, and I'd be like, okay, I could see him as like a villain, but not like the main villain. Like I could see him as being like the mental villain, while Kraven is a more physical villain.
Yeah, because which it works out because the two are half brothers too. So
exactly.
But yeah, like Chameleon's neat and all, but his only power is I can look like someone else. That's not really going to be enough to carry like 2 hours.
Yeah, like he can do it to frame Peter, but like
that would actually be really cool. Like Peter's like almost off the hook for being Spider-Man or something, and then Chameleon just shows up and ruins it all by framing him again.
Yeah, like I do think they need to have Scorpion in it in some capacity, though, because like
because of how Homecoming ended with like the instant Scorpion finds out who Spider-Man is, he's gonna cause some trouble for him.
Yeah, like they literally set him up to be like, physically damaged after being hit by that car that Vulture threw at him on the ferry.
Yeah,
So
but
it's
don't
like,
worry, he said no hard feelings.
yeah, but like that's a Chekhov's gun, and they have to set that off. Like his whole thing at the end of Homecoming was that he wants to know who Peter is. Now that he knows, like it's open season. Like they've got to like show him coming after Peter's friends.
Yeah, and now that we have Jameson in the MCU, we could do that origin of Jameson bankrolls his transformation to hunt Spider-Man.
Yeah, like I'm hoping that Jameson is shown to be behind a desk on a screen for like the whole of the next movie. I hope like he's an actual character.
Because like I want him to play a bigger part in the next movie.
Yeah, like I know they're going for like an Alex Jones ripoff thing,
which it works for Jameson.
Yeah, that they did that in the game. Which, by the way, nobody complained when they did that in the movie. But anyway,
don't worry.
But it's like you gotta like have him as an actual character. So I'm hoping like it wasn't just a fun haha Easter egg, and he'll be an Easter egg. More movies. I hope he's an actual character. Yeah, J.K. Simmons is so fucking good as
he was. Honestly, overall, he was my favorite part of all three of the Raimi movies.
Oh, absolutely! Like he was the most like he was a literal character. Like
that was not J.K. Simmons. That was J. Jonah Jameson.
Yeah, and like my only problem with how he looks is that he doesn't have the flat top. That's my only problem.
That was just what J.K. Simmons' hair was when they filmed it. So
yeah,
there's not a whole lot you can do outside of giving him a wig.
Yeah, they could easily like just do that for 3 and give him a wig and have a joke where it's like, oh, he's going through some kind of midlife crisis or whatever, or that he needs a wig. But like I did like in July, I did this whole thread on what my idea for Spider-Man 3 would be. Basically, like something I think would be really cool. And I'm not saying like they need to do like my idea to a T, because they literally can't do that. That would be like it's like they literally are not like, it's like how comic book writers like they say like you cannot send me your idea for a storyline. Like I'm literally not allowed to do that.
Yeah, so that's not how the industry works.
Yeah, I'm not saying they'd even see my tweet. They probably didn't. But like what I'd like is like I'd like for a Ben Reilly Easter egg where Peter's like in hiding and he's dyed his hair blonde and he's going under an alias of Ben Reilly.
That'd be cool.
Because like that would be a really cool Easter egg, and it would make sense if they ever did Clone Saga for one of his clones to go by Ben Reilly because of that period of time. But anyway, like I'd like for something like that. Like also like elephant in the room. They like I really, really want them to Daredevil. I really do.
Yeah,
I know they probably won't be able to, but like it would make so much sense if they had Daredevil.
Would, because like the thing that as soon as Far From Home like came out and everyone saw the ending, basically everyone came to the same conclusion of Peter's probably gonna need a lawyer in the next movie. And they immediately point to Daredevil just sitting at his fucking desk waiting to go.
And I know, like, some people have said, like, a lot of people have said, oh, Jennifer Walters, She-Hulk, could be his lawyer, and that would be a good way to introduce her, which I don't disagree with. I think, that would be a good option.
Yeah,
but
if we can't get Daredevil, I'm cool with She-Hulk.
But, like, I'd prefer Daredevil, because Daredevil and Society have such a close-knit relationship. And some people are like,
Daredevil is my top pick for that because of their relationship.
And some people are like, oh, well, it wouldn't work because Tom Holland's Spider-Man is still like a very happy-go-lucky kid or whatever, and Daredevil's so dark and dreary. It wouldn't make sense. I'm like, that's the whole point of their relationship.
Yeah. It's like Batman and Superman. They're so different. They work so well together.
Like, you don't make one darker just so they can both hang out together. You keep them both where they are.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I follow someone I follow on Twitter said like they would kind of like it if they sort of made it like the ultimate Spider-Man and Daredevil relationship where Peter's just is just kind of annoying to Daredevil and Daredevil just has no time for any of his shit.
I'd kind of like that, but I feel like here's the thing. I'm hoping that it's Charlie Cox.
He is the only one I will accept playing Daredevil.
Like, here's the thing. Even if like none of the Netflix shows canon for the MCU, at least get the cast back. Like, even if it's like a reboot, just have the cast back. Because
we need Charlie Cox, Daredevil, and Vincent D'Onofrio Kingpin. They are a must.
I know Kevin Feige apparently doesn't like the Netflix shows at all, but
I feel like it's only because he didn't get to work on them.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. He and Jeff some weird dissonance with one another, and of course,
those two don't really get along, from what I've told.
Yeah, and also him and Ike Perlmutter. Obviously, everybody hates Ike Perlmutter for good reason.
Oh yeah, no, Ike Perlmutter is a piece of shit.
Yeah,
I will go on record saying that I do not like that person.
Yeah, but so I just feel like Feige isn't that much. I feel like Feige has to know that, okay, this is like the quintessential representation of Daredevil. We will never be able to top this.
Oh yeah, so the Daredevil Netflix show is one of the best superhero. They're one of the best pieces of superhero media ever. Like
here's my thing with the Netflix Marvel shows. The only really shit is all 3 seasons of Daredevil, Jessica Jones season 1, and Punisher season 1.
Yep, all the rest were okay at best and terrible at worst.
Yeah,
I'm looking at you, Iron Fist.
Okay, I like Defenders more than most. It didn't amount to much, so it's
Defenders was weird to me. I like the idea of them coming together for one big crossover, but they didn't really do much with it.
Yeah, I don't know. They got Sigourney Weaver, and then they killed her, and
I was
very sad.
Yeah, and I literally can't remember her character's name.
Alexandria or something. I don't know. Anyway, I feel like Feige has to know, okay, if we try to recast these people, at the very least try to recast them, we're going to get a lot of heat for that.
Oh, yeah, no. Even from me, as much as I trust Feige, I will be pissed if they recast Daredevil.
I've seen some people say, literally, if you watching an MCU movie, and you see shit like that all the time, but this time where I feel like people actually, because Daredevil is that you could probably never be replicated again. And
Daredevil was lightning in a bottle. Basically.
And I don't think Feige would recast any of them. He probably would just have them be new versions of the characters, but he wouldn't recast.
Yeah, which I am fine with. Let's reboot them, but keep them the same actors at least.
They could even be a light reboot, because the end of season 3 implied that season 4 would be a lot more lighthearted, like the Mark Waid run of Daredevil. So
yeah, and we would have gotten Bullseye as that's the main villain. I think
we could still get Wilson Bethel as Bullseye.
Please, he was so fucking good. That final fight at the end of season 3 is so fucking good.
I need to see Wilson Bethel in the Bullseye costume before I die. I need to see that. But anyway, it. I feel like Feige is smart enough to know that he is going to get a lot of heat on the MCU if he tries to recast them. But the thing is, they aren't able to use them until after 2020. And I think the date is October 2020. After that,
it's something like that.
After that, Marvel Studios is allowed to use all those characters, And I feel like that's enough time for them to film stuff for Charlie Cox. Like,
yeah, like I don't even need him to play a huge movie. I just want him to be there.
Yeah, like to be honest, I do want to see him as Daredevil in the movie. Like,
oh, of course, but my minimum desire is I just want Matt Murdock in this movie.
Yeah, like, and I've seen a lot of people on Twitter saying like, wow, Daredevil's just going to be a jokester in the MCU. He's going to be lighthearted, which is not like the character at all. I'm like,
okay, have they read Daredevil?
Daredevil has been lighthearted so many times, and it's like, literally,
have they seen his original costume? Have they?
Like, I don't know. Like
I'm not saying Daredevil's a super jokester or anything, but it's like he's made plenty of quips over the years. Even in some of his darkest runs, he's joked.
Like the character, like I hate this idea that we have to put characters in a box where they can only be one tone. Like, yeah,
like characters change with the stories that are told around them.
Like we got Back in Black for Spider-Man, like back in 06, 07. And that was like
where he basically tried to murder the Kingpin.
And like
threatened to fill his lungs with web fluid and suffocate him to death.
Oh god, that was so fucking dark. And we got that from Spider-Man. And then
this wasn't like he was wearing the symbiote or anything. No, he just had a black costume that looked like it. He was himself.
We got that from Spider-Man, and then we got so many other lighthearted stories with him. It's like characters are so multifaceted. You can explore any like area of them.
Yeah, like even Batman, who is the prime example of the darkest, grittiest superhero between the big two, has had plenty of lighthearted moments and stories over the years.
Especially in the cartoons that people like in Justice League and Justice League Unlimited. He's shown to be such a dynamic person beyond just being brooding.
Yeah. He's a sarcastic motherfucker.
Even the Dark Knight, which people are like, that's the darkest Batman movie. He makes quips several times, like with the Joker, where the Joker's like, "You got a lot of fight in you. I like that." Then he's like, "Then you're gonna love me." That. Like he quips several times, and it shows that this is a person, not just an emotion, not just one solid emotion. But okay, we're getting too far removed from this.
Yeah, we gotta go back to Spider-Man. We're going into DC right now. We gotta go back to Spider-Man.
Yeah, sorry. I know y'all didn't come here for this. We got sidetracked. But anyway, I hope they can get Daredevil. I feel like they would if they didn't have that restriction, but I feel like they might find some way around it. But anyway, something I actually really want from the movie that I know will piss off a lot of purists. I really want Kraven to bury Peter alive. I really want that.
Yeah, I would love the Kraven's Last Hunt moment.
Like, here's the thing. People will complain about it the same way they complained about the rubble scene in Coming. They'll say, this isn't If This Be My Destiny or Kraven's Last Hunt. Why are they doing this? It's called adapting a moment from the comics and fitting it to the current story.
Yeah, it's been done 100 times.
Yeah, like that moment of Kraven burying Peter alive and Peter climbing out can be shown as Peter truly 100%.
He's literally reborn as Spider-Man.
Yeah. Like I know it'll piss off like everybody who hates MCU Spider-Man, who believes like, oh, if you do a story, you have to adapt the entire story and so on and so forth.
That's not how that works.
Yeah, like no. I want that so bad. And I feel like, because like my thing is, I feel my hope and my theory is that the movie is going to be called Coming Home. Because in high school, you have Homecoming in the fall, and you have Coming Home in the spring, which a lot of people have been like, you're just reversing.
Yeah.
That's literally what they do in high school. Do you not go to high school? Like,
Learn.
I've been to high school. Believe it or not, I have. And you have homecoming in the fall, and you have coming home in the spring. And also, coming home is the title of a storyline.
Yeah,
so it makes sense.
It works.
If
you're gonna keep the home puns going, then yeah, go for it.
Like the other titles, like Home Invasion, Home Sweet they don't sound like enough of what the movie would be like. They don't have that like oomph to it. I feel like Coming Home does, because I don't know, like we'll see. There's just something about it that makes me feel like, no, this is like the conclusion of a trilogy. Like you have Homecoming, you have Far From Home, and then you're Coming Home. So it's like, yeah, but like that's my hope for it.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I want John Watts to be the first Spider-Man movie director that gets to finish his trilogy without a shit ton of interference from the studios.
And he will, because like they said, he's in final contract, and like John Watts too. Like John Watts went from making weird ass YouTube videos in like 2007 to directing a $1 billion Spider-Man movie.
To directing the movies involving one of, if not the most popular superhero ever made.
Oh, not even that. One of the most popular.
Yeah, pretty much.
So it's like, yeah, like that guy has come a long way, and I would love for him to get to finish the trilogy. Like, you can say whether or not you'd want him to stay beyond that. I think it would be cool to get someone else behind the lens.
Yeah, I would like for every Spider-Man trilogy to have a different director.
Yeah, because I feel like it would thematically make sense. Because
like John Watts does the younger like high school era, and then you get someone else to do like college, and then someone else for like adult.
Yeah, like I think that would be done. I think that would be good. But like the reason I feel like Coming Home would work as like a kind of like bookend to Homecoming is like, and like using the buried alive moment as like it as kind of like a symbolism for the rubble scene. I feel like I can't say words right, but I don't know. There's something about it that makes me feel like this flows nice. It's like a concise story. It's a nice bookend to the trilogy. But yeah, I hope we get that.
Yeah,
a lot of people are saying like, keep the red and black suit. Don't make another suit just to make toys. And I'm like, they're gonna make suits. Like, who?
Oh yeah, shit? No, like even in the Raimi movies, they had like a different suit for every movie. It just wasn't as like drastic a change as it was from like Homecoming to Far From Home.
Yeah, and they still made toys of them, so I don't.
Yeah, they even made toys of suits that weren't in the movie, like that weird Spider-Man UK ripoff one, where it was like white instead of black.
That like spawned a theory that like Mysterio was actually from another universe.
Yeah, because the Earth that Mysterio said he was from was Spider-Man UK's.
Yeah, so I don't know. Like, that would have been wild, but it's just a toy modification or whatever. But like, my hope is that like the movie ends with him making like a more Todd McFarlane Bagley-esque suit.
Yeah, I want him to make. Yeah, I want him to make a more like classic-ish looking Spider-Man suit. Like, get rid of the black line, the random black lines that aren't like part of the web pattern and stuff.
I'm like the one person who's like fine with them, because I feel like it.
For like the suits that they're part of, they're fine, but like for a more like classic look, which is what I kind of hope they do, and for something that like some high school kid sews in their bedroom, I kind of hope they eventually get rid of those lines.
I feel like he'll still make the suit using Stark Tech, which I'm fine with. Like,
I would prefer it if he did it on his own, because that was the one thing I didn't like about the suit building scene in Far From Home was he literally used like a $1 trillion sewing to it in 10 minutes.
The thing is, like, I say this all the time. I don't think a kid could literally make a movie suit, because like unless like he has expert experience in sewing and design or whatever. Because it's like I don't know. We don't have to get into the logistics of it because it's a fucking comic book movie.
I was about to say it's a fucking comic book. In '60s comics, Peter made that suit in like an hour.
But yeah, like in the end, it doesn't.
And then in like 2 or 3 issues later, he's trying to fix a mask. He's like, "Man, I suck at sewing."
Like that was back when like the webs, not the webs, the like white spaces on his eyes were just be cloth. Like back then,
pretty much.
Like I don't know, I feel like he'll make the suit using Stark Tech, but it won't be like a super high tech suit.
Yeah.
Like just to sew it together, I think.
Yeah,
just to make it.
Because like just say like Kraven basically just destroyed the last one, so he's got to build one real quick.
What I did with like my whole how I want Spider-Man 3 to be is that like he still has the red and black suit, but it's like torn up and all the tech is depleted from it. So all he has
because like I feel like this movie would have been like the last one to really have like the big Stark like connections to him.
Yeah, like I feel because like they have said this is going to be a Peter-centric story. Like it's going to focus on him and only him, and like the side characters he has. And like that's not saying they won't reference Tony because I know they will.
They're gonna bring him up at least once or twice throughout.
Oh wait, you know what this means? We have Spider-Man back in the MCU. You know what this means? This means more Mr. Harrington, more JB Smoove.
Yeah,
we got what we wanted.
My boys are still in it.
We need a Disney Plus series with Mr. Harrington and JB Smoove.
Oh yeah, like I have said I want a Midtown High news like Disney Plus series of fucking Betty and what's the other Jason, I think is the other kid, like them reporting on like events in other MCU movies.
Oh god,
and then like eventually like after they graduate high school or whatever, it becomes a Daily Bugle show with Jameson involved as well.
God. Somebody once said like we need like a Daily Bugle Office style TV show.
Yeah, I kind of want to see. I want to see how that would.
Like I think the Office is kind of overrated, but I think like it would be perfect for the Daily Bugle. Like that would be brilliant.
Oh, yeah. The Daily Bugle is the closest thing to the Office outside of the Office.
Oh, absolutely. But yeah, like I don't. Fuck. What was I gonna say? For Spider-Man 3, like okay, I remember what I wanted to say. I hope Pepper Potts has a substantial role in the movie.
I feel like it would make sense to bring
because she knew how much Peter meant to Tony, and she'd be doing everything she could to make sure that Peter like is safe and like gets help he needs.
Yeah, because and it would work even better because like in Homecoming, Tony played a somewhat big part, and then Far From Home, Happy played a pretty big part. So it would make sense if we're gonna bring in anyone else, it would probably be Pepper to play a bigger part too.
Yeah, like she doesn't have to suit up as Rescue or anything. I mean, she could if she.
Yeah, she doesn't have to, but I would like if we are going the lawyer route, I would like it if like she just came in and paid for all that stuff.
Yeah,
to try to get him like the best legal help possible.
And some people will be like, "Well, Peter's supposed to have money problems." I don't fucking.
We had that 2 franchises.
We had 5 movies of Peter having money problems. I don't give a shit. Like we all have money problems. Everybody fucking does. Like literally.
I don't need it to be a big focus. I don't really care. And like I've also said like for how I would want Norman Osborn to be brought into the MCU, I would have him buy out Stark Industries and turn it into Oscorp.
I don't think he'd buy it out. I think he'd just buy Avengers Tower, which I don't know. We'll see.
I would say just buy out the company itself, because if only just so that we could really establish the Dark Avengers stuff with Iron Patriot and all.
That's another theory I had. Another thing I thought the villains would be the Dark Avengers / the Sinister Six. Like, they'd essentially be two groups put into one. They'd at first be the Dark Avengers, but then they'd be the Sinister Six by the end of the movie.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking, at least. Like, before, like, you could either do Kraven or, like, the Dark Avengers / the Sinister Six.
Yeah. That could be kind of neat. I've seen, like, theories of, like, them making the Thunderbolts who eventually become, like, part of the Dark Avengers or something. There's like 1,000 different theories for MCU, Dark Avengers, and Thunderbolts and shit, so who the fuck knows anymore?
I don't know. Like, we all thought that they were going to show Oscorp in Far From Home, and then they didn't.
Yeah.
And, like, that building, I feel like they knew how much we theorized that building was going to be Oscorp, and then they're just like, nope, you're not going to see it yet.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, we're still waiting on deciding if it's going to be Oscorp or the Baxter Building at this point.
Yeah. Honestly, I feel like it could go either way. We'll see.
Yeah, either way, I'll be happy.
Yeah, but anyway, like, what do you hope for the future, like, of Spidey in the MCU? Because, like, what I hope is that, like, his next movie is, of course, Avengers 5. But I hope he has, like, a substantial role in it where he's actually, like, an active part of the cast. Like, he isn't just taking orders from Tony like he did in Infinity War and Endgame.
Yeah, no, I want Peter to be a bigger part of the next Avengers movie.
Like, I want to see him actually formulating plans and talking with the other Avengers instead of them just being like, oh, you're a kid, shut up. Like,
yeah, like, I wouldn't be shocked if Avengers 5, like, what the Avengers are doing are, like, recruiting a new team after Endgame basically killed off, like, over half of them.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That's definitely what they're doing, I think.
Which I think is how we're going to get the Young Avengers or New Avengers or whichever it's going to be.
I don't know. They're either going to do Young Avengers, we'll see.
Yeah, I think they're just going to merge the two into one team.
Yeah, which some people will be unhappy with, but I don't know.
Me personally, I'm fine with it because it's not that big a deal to me.
Yeah, like,
it wouldn't make sense to have, like, two young hero teams going at once. Basically, is how I see it.
Yeah, because they haven't established enough young superheroes yet. Like, so far, they only have Peter, and he's already gonna. Like, Tom Holland can't play, like, a 16 or 17-year-old forever. I feel like he's gonna graduate by the end of the movie.
Yeah, I feel like the next movie is going to be the end of the high school days of Spider-Man.
Yeah, so he's gonna be in college. So I don't think he could really be on the champions team, which, by the way, would piss a lot of people spot he's taking.
Oh, yeah, that'd be...
Yeah, but like, I don't know. Like, so far, he's the only young one. They have Cassie Lang, who's probably going to become Stature, and then you have Kamala Khan, who's going to be Miss Marvel, which I'm excited for that.
I can't wait for that show.
Yeah,
I love that logo so much.
And she's the main character of the Avengers game.
She is too. God, she has been around for like 5 years, and she's one of the biggest characters Marvel has made.
Absolutely, and like,
I'm so happy.
So many people are like pissed off that like she's the main character of the Avengers game. I'm like, oh, shut up! Like, I don't like.
Yeah, on Twitter, someone made a post saying how, wow, this weird, like, cartoonish, stretchy power thing really doesn't look good in live action or with a realistic model. And I just replied with, gee, it's almost like the entire point behind her powers is they're super weird and awkward, just like her.
You can bet they won't say the same thing about Mr. Fantastic when he shows up in the MCU.
Oh, I guarantee you they're not going to even say a fucking peep about Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah. We don't have to explain why they. You all can guess why. But anyway, I'm hoping that like Peter has a lot more to do. I'm hoping that this deal continues because once again it feels like they're actually in it for the long haul. Like they're making deals outside of Spider-Man to like partner up.
Yeah, like they're just Sony movies and shows are going to be put on Disney Plus, and Disney stuff is going to be put on whatever Sony has and all that. So it's like they're clearly working very closely together for a while longer, at least.
Which is good because, like, people were saying, "Oh, Disney, just buy Sony." Fucking no. Disney does not.
No.
Disney does not need any. Disney does not need to get any bigger than. Like,
no. If they try, please. I can't believe it, but please, the government, please get involved in something, please.
Like the fact that the Fox deal happened already is scary enough. Like, that shouldn't have happened.
Yeah, but like it's weird because it's like at the end of the day, Fox was going up for sale no matter what.
But Disney was already too big.
Yeah, and it's just
Fox shouldn't have been like. I don't get why Fox was trying to sell themselves because like they weren't in bankruptcy. They were doing
they were doing okay. I guess they just weren't. The company just wasn't managed as well as it should have been, or something. There might have been something like internal. I don't know how these things work. I'm just a fat kid who reads comics all day.
Yeah, ditto. But anyway, yeah, I don't know. I'm just glad to see that like that Disney is reached a conclusion that doesn't involve being the competitor.
Yeah, I am happy that we get to, at the very least, get to see Watts finish his MCU trilogy, and we get another team up with MCU Spider-Man in Avengers 5.
Yeah, after that, like, who knows? I mean, like, I'd love to see more, but as long as Peter's story is complete, I'll be fine. Because
I will be satisfied.
It feels like finally, after so many years, we've like gotten to like we've had 2 reboots. Felt like we were gonna get another reboot, and then they're finally like, you know what? No, this Spider-Man is here to stay. He's your Spider-Man. We're gonna continue his story. Because
it's like when your parent. It's like when your parent comes over to pick you up from your friend's house and you're just like, come on, Mom, just 5 more minutes.
And then they finally give you the 5 more minutes.
Yeah, after like 2 hours of bickering.
But anyway, I'm hoping for the best from this new deal. I'm glad that's happened because I'm glad that we're gonna finally see what happens after a Spider-Man cliffhanger.
Yes, we are finally gonna get a resolution.
I feel like the title for this episode will be "Third Time's the Charm," but we'll see. I don't know. That might be a shitty title. I don't know, but you'll know when you're listening to this. But anyway, I think that's all. We have talked for a long time tonight.
Yes, we have.
It's been almost an hour and 30 minutes. We will try to make this not as long in the future, but we've just had a lot to talk about. So, Brian, final thoughts?
Well, I am very happy that this deal was made because I personally really like MCU Spider-Man, and as I've said it before, but Far From Home is one of my favorite Spider-Man movies, and it's one that I love every time I rewatch it. Like, I love it even more every time I watch it. So, like, as long as, at the very least, I get to see this trilogy complete and another, like, Avengers movie with him in it, I will be satisfied for now, at least. You know, I am happy that this deal was made.
Yeah, I second all of that. Like, Far From Home isn't my favorite, but, like, and I don't think it's the best Spider-Man movie, but that's fine. Like, there's this idea that, like, every Spider-Man movie or every movie has to be the best. And, like, sometimes it doesn't have to be, and that's fine. Like, and it's just, like, I feel like it's just people who don't want to see Spider-Man as just being, like, as not being, like, the end-all, be-all god of Marvel, which is fine, because, like, there are other great characters in Marvel too that shouldn't be left to the wayside.
Like God, I feel so bad for Fantastic Four fans.
Yeah, like
for like 5 or 10 years at this point, they've had like nothing.
They're gonna be celebrating in like 2022 or like I don't know whenever Fantastic Four comes out.
Yeah, if the new MCU Fantastic Four movie is good, then Fantastic Four fans are going to be set for.
Absolutely, and I'm really, really happy. Like I said, I'm happy we're going to see what happens after Far From Home the way it was meant to be seen.
Yeah, I didn't want the Sonyverse version where they literally can't talk about anything that happened in the previous movie.
Yeah, I remember like looking at my phone when I got the notification that Sony and Marvel had made up, and I just got a big smile on my face as I was sitting on the toilet. But anyway,
I remember I woke up and I saw you DM me in Discord saying that they made the new deal, and I was so fucking happy.
Yeah, I was like, okay, this has got to be our next topic because there's nothing else we could talk about aside from this. Yeah. But anyway, I think that's all the time we've got for tonight. So, Brian, any last thoughts?
I think I gave mine.
Oh, I just repeated myself then.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been a lot of fun talking about this. We're both very happy that Sony and Disney have made up, and we're finally going to get a Spider-Man 3, the first one in over 10 years. So we'll see.
Yeah, not that one you're thinking of, a new one.
Yeah, the new one. So once again, thank you all so much for listening. You can follow me on Twitter. I'm at the Alec Thorne. You can follow Brian on Twitter. He is at RedLReviews. Right? Did I get that right?
Yes. I just recently shortened it to make it less of a pain in the ass to say out loud.
Yeah. But so yeah, you can follow him at Reviews. You can follow the podcast on Twitter. We are at _podcast. You can follow On Comics Ground on Twitter. We are at On Comics Ground. And you can go to our website where we talk about where we post daily reviews, news, editorials, I forgot, and more. Yay. I'm stuttering because I'm very tired, so I'm sorry to all of you. But
it's anyway, 11 at night, so.
Yeah. So, once again, thank you all so much for listening. We will see you in the next episode or whatever. I'm stealing somebody's outro. I don't know who it is, but I am. All right. Bye.
Take care.